Welcome to First Steps in Mission, the show where we talk to a few young adults about their first steps in mission, but also what else they are currently doing in mission. Today we have the wonderful Sandra Bangway from the band Soulbox. Sam, why won't you tell the people a little bit about you and about your band Soulbox?
Yeah, 100%. So my name is Sammy and I'm in a three-piece band called Soulbox. We do like soul music, a bit of pop, a bit of rap. And we basically like travel all over the UK, sometimes abroad. And we basically want to get in front of as many people as possible so that we can use our music to preach the gospel. So you can find us in schools, you can find us doing gigs, doing festivals, you name it. As long as we can take our music and preach the gospel, we're gonna be there.
That sounds so cool. It sounds a bit unique as well. So how did you get into that? Was it like you knew from a young age you wanted to be in a band, you wanted to preach the gospel, or did you go on a journey?
I went on a massive journey. I was brought up in like a Christian family, and you hear me talk about my mum all the time, like show us people's, like that's my boy. But like my mum would always say to me, Samantha, God loves you, He has a plan, purpose for your life. I believe one day you will tell lots of people about Jesus. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to. I wasn't checking for it. I just wanted to like use music to be like Beyonce, Rihanna, maybe, you know, drop it, pick it up.
Work. Okay.
That's what I wanted to do. But when I was 18 years old, I just met Jesus in the most incredible way, and it was personal, and I finally understood what my mum radically believed, and I just didn't get it before. And when I first experienced it, I was like, yo, there's no way that I can use music in the same way that these people do. I want to use it to tell people about like Jesus. And I started kind of like figuring out what that meant. So I was writing bad songs, terrible songs, but I was trying to just get to like little gigs in Manchester and just using that where I could basically. Then I came to the message and started here, and it's just been the mix of the two things that I've always wanted to do.
That's amazing. Cool. Shout out to Sam's mum for keeping her on the straight and narrow and not working like Rihanna. No disrespect to Rihanna, but I'm glad you're on the straight and narrow. So you said you came to the message and you jumped straight into the band stuff, or how did it all work out?
So I heard about the Message Academy.
Okay.
And at the time I was working for a substance misuse charity called the Lifeline Project. And I would like go into schools. So it's quite funny. The two are very similar, but significantly different. I was going into schools and I was doing music and putting up gigs to show young people that you can have a good time without alcohol and without drugs.
Cool.
So that was like my main job role. And I was like, oh, halfway through that, I met Jesus and I was like, it's not enough. Like I can go into schools and give these young people like all the scientific evidence, all the like hospital advice and all that stuff, which is amazing. Do not get me wrong, it's absolutely fantastic and very important for us to know. But I felt like these young people were needing more in life. They were needing what I experienced, like the freedom and the life that comes in Jesus. So then I was like, oh God, like I need to find something. Somehow ended up at this thing called Thursday Night Live at the Message.
Okay.
And there was these people performing, and it was such a God thing. It was the 1 month that they had all these bands. So there was bands from Germany, there was 1224, shout out 1224. My youth leader Christina was in that band, and it was just amazing. And then there was Brightline, there was all these people, and they were telling me what they did, and I was like, I really want to do that. How do I get into this? Then one of my friends was like, oh, what do you do? I explained to her, and I told her my struggles with it, that I really wanted to share Jesus, but there wasn't room to do it. And she said, check out the Message Academy. Like maybe it can help you and equip you to do what you're wanting to do. Explained to me that it was a gap year and that I would come, I'll be invested in my creative gift, but also taught how to preach the gospel. So I literally signed up and the rest is history.
Okay, the rest is history. So Academy was kind of like your first step into it, and then Soulbox. We have a clip of your band actually, Soulbox,
Amazing.
One of your music videos. Let's watch that. Let's see Sam in action with her band, yeah.
All the things I loved before, I no longer care about. I feel my life with fancy things. Those possessions will possess you and become your everything. Now I giving it up, nah. No hesitation, no doubt.
That was a lot of Sams on screen. that was a lot of
Even
you.
too much for me.
That was a lot of you. That was what, one of your very first songs?
That was one of the first albums that I did with Soulbucks. It's called Your Love, and that song is called C'est la Vie.
Cool. And as you said, you go into schools, prisons, all that. Why don't you go to like big stages? Is that not your thing? Why schools in particular? Why where young people are at?
It was the heart that I had. Like obviously, like I said with my last job, that's what I was doing. But for me, it was just like I came to this realization that I was a young person and the world tells us so many things. They're the fundamental like building blocks of your life as high school and even like primary school as well. They build you to who you are. And I just had a passion to go into there and help young people whilst they're trying to figure it out. Like, you know what? Life is amazing. There's a God who loves you, has an incredible plan and purpose for your life. Even if there's ups and downs, he wants to walk with you in that, which is a truth that a lot of young people don't have. And I remember for me, it was the place where my faith started to like kind of creep away from me as the world looked more desirable, drinking, partying, all that stuff. Had I known the truth that life without Jesus is completely meaningless, at that point, maybe it would have been different for me. So for me, I was like, I remember when I became a Christian, I said, God, I will never ever under my watch see another young person make the same mistakes that I did without hearing the opportunity to live life to the full. So that's why I kind of was like, oh, high school is definitely where I want to be.
That's such a cool kind of like stake in the ground that actually it's not about the fame or the money, it's about where can I make an impact for the gospel, and you continue to do that, which is amazing. Obviously, we've been in a pandemic, so how has Soulbucks been in school, or what's been the transition for you guys?
You'll see it if you check out any of our YouTube videos. Our intro became like, oh, we're now YouTubers, because we had to take to YouTube.
Okay.
Like, I've never thought of myself as doing like YouTube or anything like that, but one of the things that you need to understand about the message, which is obviously where we work, is we are built on being like, we're built on being like having great initiative, being like innovation. It's in our DNA, and going with what's happening at the time is what we do. We stay true to the gospel. We stay true to like the message of Jesus that we're trying to bring. But if there's something happening, which means that we have to change our approach, we're willing to do it. And I think that's where it's very important to recognize that for me, I don't see myself as a musician who's an evangelist.
Okay.
I see myself as an evangelist who happens to be a musician. So we had to change everything, had to start doing videos and just kind of like get on that platform, because that's where the young people were, and preach the gospel to them in wacky ways and do all this crazy stuff. So that's kind of like what happened for us in lockdown.
That's cool. You said something there that was really interesting about being a musician who's an evangelist or an evangelist who's a musician. What would you say is the difference?
I think the difference is how you react when change happens. So for me, in the change of going from like using my music to like impact young people with the truth of the gospel, to then using videos to impact like young people with the truth of the gospel, my reaction wasn't, oh no, I don't get to do music anymore. I'm so annoyed. I don't want to do this. I want to pack it all in. Which would have been a reasonable, reaction, because I love music. That is a passion of mine. But actually for me, the priority is the gospel. And if I need to change up things, if I need to start doing videos, whatever it is, that's what I'm willing to do, because at the end of the day, young people still need to hear the gospel. If music isn't going to get me to do that, if it's going to be videos, then let's do it. You've got to do what you need to do so people hear the gospel, is like how I see it. That's
an amazing heart, and I think a lot of people don't really have that, and I like how you defined it. It was really clear for me. So within that, has that always been within you, or was it your academy training, or was it just life in general that helped you shape that heart and mindset? Where would you say that happened for you?
I think it's a mixture of like all the things really. My mum is an incredible inspiration for me, and she moved to the Wirral ages ago, and I'm still in Manchester, and I will get in taxis and a taxi driver will go, oh, are you the girl that lived at 24 Boothfield? Your mum would always invite me to church and tell me about Jesus. So I always knew the importance of always sharing the gospel no matter where you're at in life. My mum was rushing to work, getting there to do like her nursing stuff, and she had time to stop and preach the gospel to somebody everywhere that she went. And so for me, I've always understood that priority, that it doesn't matter what's happening in life, like this is what we're supposed to do. But I think one thing that really helped me, like really kind of like anchored me in, that was my teaching on academy. I would always suggest to people that if you are wanting to find confidence and courage and just like, I guess, find out who God is and the power of his gospel, is I would advise you to take some time away to just invest in it, to just seek out the truth, to learn and to grow in it. And that's what I did on Academy. And I think that is definitely has shaped me and my approach to life, because when I came, I was like, oh God, I understand the music and I really want to do that, but I know that there's more. And what is that more? And for me, part of discovering that was Academy. So I would always say, you know what, you guys are young, innit? You've got time. Academy is like 10 months. So for me, it was like 10 months in the grand scheme of like what, 80 to 90 years of life? That's nothing. I get to learn and grow. I'm gonna do it. So that definitely helped me in my approach and my the way that I see things.
That's such good advice, and you would continue to give advice to young people. Take some time out, figure out who you are, figure out who God is to you for your own personal benefit as well, and then go about and doing life.
Yeah.
That's some good advice. You mentioned your mum a lot. Which is good. Which is good. And there was one of your YouTube things you did. You had your mum on it, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And we got a clip of that. Let's hear Sam's mum in action.
Hi, Mum. You're now with everyone on YouTube. How are you?
Hello, Samantha, my baby.
I miss you so much.
I miss you too, my lovely. How are you, and how is everybody over there with you in YouTube there?
I think everyone's fine. Let me know in the comments. My mum's asking, how are you doing? How are you doing? Rhoda wants to know. Mum, I was just thinking about you because I can't wait to see you when lockdown's over.
I can't wait to see you either.
Isn't she great?
Sam's mum. She sounds great.
Isn't she amazing?
Nurse, but has time to stop and tell the gospel people, somebody who's been investing in her daughter from young and seeing the fruit of it. I'm sure you're a very proud Rhoda, right?
Yeah.
Very proud mum, Rhoda. It's great. We are gonna take a little cut to our friends in Wigan. We have another young adult called Alex, who's going to be talking to us a little bit about what she's been doing in and around lockdown season. So have a look and see what Alex has been doing.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, one of the course leaders at Message Academy, and we are here with the Community Grocers in Wigan. Community Grocers was set up by the Message Trust as a scheme to feed families and deliver lunches, but then they realized that the need was so much greater, so they started the Community Grocers, which is a more long-term and sustainable way to help people who are feeling the financial impacts of COVID. So let's go inside and hear more about what they do and meet our manager, Alex.
So I'm the manager here at the Community Grocery in Wigan, which is a partnership between the Message Trust and States Community Church. So my role is helping look after the members that we have here and also growing that membership. So we currently have 400 members. And so one of the things that we do for supporting our members is going beyond just the food, but also the groups and courses that run alongside the grocery. The 6 that we have at the moment are an IT skills group, a job club, a knitting group, sewing group, pottery workshop, and we also have Exploring Christianity as well. So immediately before this, I was working for our partner church here, so that's been nice to be able to still be connected there. And then before that, I've also did a discipleship training school with YWAM and a teaching qualification, and previous to that, I was also on Message Academy. I did Academy about 5 years ago now. I think the main thing when I looked on Academy was confidence. Before I started Academy, I was quite shy. I didn't really put myself into doing anything like the grocery or anything like that. But over the course of the year, there was lots of opportunities where I stepped out of my comfort zone, but I was encouraged to do that in a safe space as well. By building that confidence over that time, it then enabled me to be able to do things like my teaching and doing the grocery here as well.
What would you say to young people who are looking to maybe step out of their comfort zone, grow their confidence, and are interested in Message Academy?
To do Academy. I think I would just say to take that first step, really. Just put in your application. That's the first step, and then you just take each step as it comes. But just knowing that as you do that, yeah, you're being pushed out of your comfort zone and it will be maybe scary, but everyone who is there to support you and encourage you to do that because they know that that's how you're going to grow as well.
Thank you for your time, Alex.
Thank you.
So as you mentioned before, Alex and you were on a mission team together on Academy. Explain a bit more about that. What does that look like? What does that mean? Because on Academy, it's not just teaching, there's some applications straight away, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And just to give you like a bit of an idea of how it works, is like we've got like the first term or so where we're kind of like digging into who is God and what does that mean for me. But then the great challenge that comes from that is figuring out, okay, if this is who God is and this is who I am, what does that mean for everybody else in the world? And you kind of like figure out like, oh, having this truth, you can't keep it to yourself and you have to go out and share the gospel with people. And so in the third term, we're kind of like encouraged and given opportunities to do this. And for me, it was in a team with Alex, my friend Hannah, Josh and Joel Jones. And we kind of like got to go into high schools all over Manchester. We went to London, all sorts of places and went into schools and preached the gospel to young people. And one thing that I have to say as well, just like watching Alex is so beautiful because she was our team leader in our team. And she would never describe herself as somebody who wants to just go out there and like would do all that kind of stuff. But seeing her grow in her confidence and her courage was incredible. And it was so inspiring for me. And I'm a super chatty person. I'm like, you know, I'm out there and I do all this kind of stuff, but it was so amazing to see that growth in not just myself, but in the whole team. You have this family together and you're going out and it's incredible. There's nothing like it.
That sounds so cool. So yeah, growth, which is amazing, and you get to see that in your friends. But you also mentioned that there was a band before Soulbox. So you guys formed a little band.
Yeah.
Before there was Soulbox, you were in a band before. What was your band called?
It was called Ember.
Ember.
You know, because like the embers in a fire, I think they like keep it, you know, hot and stuff. So we wanted to say, you know what, we're in the world and we're embers. We're gonna keep the fire of the gospel hot.
And if we wanted to find out more about Ember, is there like any footage on YouTube that we could?
Nah, it's
That's
gone.
cool. But Soulbox is still alive.
Soulbox is very alive.
Which is good. What does it look like for Soulbox now coming out of the pandemic? You going back into schools or are you finding that it's a slow transition? What's next for you guys as a band?
Yeah, I think it's a slow transition. As restrictions go down, we'll be able to start going into schools and stuff, but we are now in a position where we're getting ourselves ready. So we are writing songs at the minute. We are working on a project that we're going to be releasing at some point. And yeah, we're just like getting ourselves ready and like in shape for mission. So we're gonna have lots of stuff coming out so that we can like go into schools and like colleges and all that kind of stuff with like fresh material and just get ready to get back out there, you know? So yeah, we're still gonna do the YouTube stuff. We're still gonna release some videos, but our main focus now is getting back into in-person like stuff, like going into schools and all that kind of stuff.
That sounds cool. And how can people stay in contact with you and follow you and the Ember and Soulbox? How can we do that? Where can we find you?
That is a very, very good question, Charlotte. You can find us at Soulbox Band on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to listen to our music, just type in Soulbox on any streaming platform and you'll be able to get a hold of us there.
Great. And last question for you, Sam. If a young person, a young adult is watching this and they want to take their first steps in mission, what advice would you give them?
I would give you this advice. I feel like for a lot of us, we wait until we've got it all together, maybe, and we feel like, oh, maybe once I've gotten good at this, then I'll be able to take my first step, or maybe once I'm more confident, I'll be able to take my first step. My advice to you would be just take that first step as you are. And also know that if God has called each and every single one of us to go into the world and to tell people about him, he's fully equipped us. And it is just up to you to take that first step into discovering the gifts that God has given you, into discovering his Holy Spirit, which strengthens us and sends us out. It can't happen with you just standing still. You have to take that first step, but you need to know that God will meet you as you do that as well. So my encouragement would be, just do it, just try it, and I guarantee you that God will be with you every step of the way.
That's some wise words right there and some encouragement for you. So if you are thinking about stepping out into mission, just do it. If you wanna maybe do the same course that Sam and Alex did, Message Academy is available and taking recruitments now. Thank you so much for your time, Sam. Bless you. Say hi to your mum for me.
I will.
Hopefully we can all meet up sometime and have a little bit of barbecue.
Yes.
Maybe she can invest in me some more as well. For you guys, please stay tuned. Next week, we'll be having another interview with another young adult talking about their first steps in mission. Thank you for watching.
You've been watching Message Live,
and we hope it's been a great encouragement to you.
Would you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook,
and ring that bell for notifications?
And thanks for watching.